There comes a moment in life when you look at yourself in the mirror and realize you are no longer the person you used to be, and the most frightening part is that you can't even identify the exact day argument or a moment when the change began, because narcissistic abuse doesn't destroy you all at once. It destroys you slowly, quietly, and almost unnoticeably, carving away pieces of you through tiny emotional cuts you were conditioned to believe were normal, harmless, or even your fault. That's the terrifying brilliance of it. The destruction happens so gradually that by the time you notice the damage, you're already drowning in it. Narcissists don't break people with obvious cruelty or dramatic attacks that would be too easy to detect. It's too easy to escape. Instead, they erode your reality through subtle manipulation, gently pushing you to doubt your instincts, your memories, your emotions, and eventually your sanity. And once you no longer trust yourself, once you're disconnected from your inner guidance, controlling you becomes effortless, because a person without self-trust becomes desperate to trust someone else. It always begins beautifully. They flood you with attention, admiration, and emotional intensity. They make you feel chosen. They mirror your soul so perfectly that you mistake it for connection. But narcissists don't love you. They love what you give them. They love your empathy, your warmth, your stability, and your ability to feel deeply. They attach themselves to you not because they care, but because you are a reliable source of emotional energy they plan to feed on. And once you're invested, once you've opened your heart, that's when the slow dismantling begins. Not through obvious insults, but through subtle criticisms disguised as jokes. Small corrections, quiet judgments, tiny moments that make you feel too sensitive, too dramatic, or somehow wrong. They deny what hurts you, twist what they said, rewrite conversations, and minimize your feelings until you start apologizing for your own pain. Little by little, they teach you to trust their version of reality more than your own. This is the trap of narcissistic abuse. It disconnects you from yourself. It dismantles your intuition. It makes you dependent on their approval. You begin editing your personality to avoid conflict, choosing your words carefully, shrinking your needs, and erasing pieces of who you are, because everything that once felt natural suddenly feels unsafe. And that's exactly what they want. A version of you that is easy to control because you're afraid to be yourself. What makes this even more dangerous is the cycle. The perfect timing of cruelty followed by affection. Just when you're ready to leave, they soften. They apologize. They open up. They remind you of the person they pretended to be in the beginning. And that unpredictable mixture of pain and tenderness creates a trauma bond that feels like addiction, making your brain crave the very person who is destroying you. And here is the heartbreaking truth. You didn't stay because you're weak. You stayed because you are loving. Because you saw their wounded inner child. Because you believed you could help them heal. Because your empathy became the rope they used to pull you deeper. And narcissists know this. They know you'll try harder, give more, and sacrifice more, because you are the type of person who leads with compassion. And they exploit that compassion the way a parasite exploits a host, endlessly taking while giving nothing real in return. But here's what they never expect. The moment you see the pattern, their power begins to collapse. Because once you recognize the manipulation, it stops working. Once you understand the cycle, it loses its grip. Once you rediscover your worth, their approval becomes meaningless. And once you reconnect with your intuition, you hear the truth your soul has been whispering all along. You deserve better. You always did. You simply forgot. Healing from narcissistic abuse doesn't begin with forgiveness or confrontation. It begins with remembering who you were before they dimmed your light, and rebuilding the relationship you have with yourself, piece by piece, until the version of you they tried to erase returns stronger, clearer, and unwilling to carry someone else's chaos again. And when you finally rise, the narcissist will say, "You've changed." But the truth is, you didn't change. You woke up. You came home to yourself. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, press the thumbs up and share it with others. It helps spread the message of inner peace and self-discovery. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this.